Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about additive battery detonations with your 9mm blowbacks. Okay, so this is a 9mm, it's a Palmetto PX9. It doesn't have any locking mechanism. It's not like your pistols that have the tilt barrel that locks into place. Your ARs and your AKs have a rotating bolt. So the only thing that delays the bolt from coming back and giving enough time for your bolt to get out the barrel is the weight of the bolt, the buffer weight, and the spring. That's the only thing that delays the bolt coming back long enough for your bullet to exit the barrel. Okay, so I think 3 times, and I don't know if it was all with this particular one over here, but I've had 3 out of battery detonations, and most likely due to bolt bounce. Okay, so what happens is when the bolt comes back, okay, as it goes forward, you know, because remember there's no locking mechanism, the bolt basically slams, you know, into the back of the barrel, right, or the chamber over here, and as it goes forward, it slams, it bounces back a little bit. Okay, doesn't happen often. There's a lot of timing issues where it has to be perfect, but what happens is the bolt goes forward, so it's closed. You happen to pull the trigger at that second, but what happens is the bolt still has enough energy from crashing into the back of your chamber that the bolt bounces back. Okay, so that detonation happens, you know, basically the cartridge ignites as the extractor is pulling the case back. That's where the full ignition happens. Okay, now usually it doesn't get pulled back all the way because the bullet always seems to get out the barrel. It doesn't seem to get stuck in the chamber or anything. You know, so the bullet makes it all the way out the barrel. So what I'm thinking is that it just comes back a little bit, but enough to have an out of battery detonation, and the case basically ends up looking like this, right? This is one. I saved this one. I've had 2. This has happened to me 2 other times. The other one's kind of like sunflower. It looks like like flower petals. Okay, and this is a brass one. It happened with the steel case ones. The first time that it happened, I thought it was a problem with the ammunition, all right? Because that was in 2020. You know, that's when there was huge ammunition shortages, and I was thinking that, you know what, due to the ammunition shortages, maybe the quality control had dropped, and I got a cartridge that was overpowered, right? That had too much of a charge in it. So that's what I was thinking initially. The second time that it happened, I don't know, it might have been 6 months or a year later. I don't remember exactly. The second time that it happened, I was thinking that this is kind of odd that it's happened again. Now I was thinking, hey, maybe the firing pin was dirty, right? And it got stuck forward and the gun slam fired, okay? Because the firing pin channel on these bolts is really, really thin. It's not like an AR one where you can run a brush through there. You really can't put a brush in the firing pin channel. The best you can do is just spray it clean. So I thought maybe there was some dirt in there that made the firing pin get stuck forward. I looked at the firing pin. I mean, it wasn't, you know, clean, but it wasn't like horrible dirty either. But I thought it was a slam fire created by the firing pin getting stuck forward, so that when the bolt went forward, it struck the primer and ignited it before it went fully into battery. So that's what I was thinking the second time. And now the third time, which happened, I don't know, a couple of months ago, I thought, again, I was thinking, I guess maybe the firing pin was dirty again. But that time I checked it. I had been making sure that I was keeping the firing pin clean, and the firing pin was clean. So then I started doing some more research, and I'm finding out that it was most likely due to the bolt bouncing. You know, so basically when the bolt goes forward, you know, it just bounces back a tiny little bit. So it goes forward, it's closed, you pull the trigger, the hammer drops, firing pin goes forward, okay, but the bolt still has enough energy to bounce back. So by the time the ignition of the cartridge happens, the bolt has to move back just a little bit, and the cartridge ignites out of battery, and that's how you end up with a case that looks like that. Okay, now this has also happened to me with a 22 one time, which I thought was really strange. So, you know, it's happened to me 3 times, right? 4 times if you include the 22. But with the 22s, it's not that big of a deal because it's like, okay, I didn't think it was a big deal because it wasn't that loud. However, with the 9mm, I got really nervous because when it happened, it sounded like a 308 with a muzzle brake on it. Okay, it's really loud when you get an out of battery detonation, even with your earmuffs on, because this is all happening right here. And what happens is the magazine just gets completely blown out the bottom. Okay, so a lot of the force comes out the bottom, and the magazine in all 3 cases was destroyed. You know, it was damaged so that it was basically unusable. So that's the out of battery detonation that I just want you guys to be aware of. So that, first of all, if it happens to you, you know what's going on. Despite having happened to me 3 times, it has not damaged the gun. It didn't injure me, right? And now I can definitely see somebody getting injured if they're holding on to the magazine down here. If you're holding on to the magazine, you get an out of battery detonation where a lot of the power, you know, the forces come down. Yeah, because remember, when you look at this case, right, and you see that that's all that's left of the case, that means that all these other pieces over here got separated. So basically, this became a mini grenade. Okay, so all of that basically got blown down. Some of it may have come out of the ejection port. So now with the lefties, because with the righties is not a problem, right? Because if you can hold the C clamp in your heel like this, right? All that force is going to go down now. But if you're a righty, with having your left hand forward, but if you're a lefty with your right hand forward, right? Now if you have an out of battery detonation, that's going to blow into your arm. So lately, I had people holding the gun more like this if they're lefties, right? And you know, because of that possible out of battery detonation. Okay. Now, when I first got this gun, and all my PX9s, they come standard with the 4-ounce buffer weight. With this one in particular, I noticed that there was a lot of gas coming out of the ejection port. It didn't matter that much if you were shooting it righty, but if you're shooting it lefty, you would definitely feel the gases coming out over here. So what was happening is, you know, it wasn't out of battery detonation, but what's happening is the bolt was not staying closed long enough for the gases to go out from the gun. Bolt would go out, but then the bolt would start moving backwards a little bit too fast. So the solution was for me to change out the 4-ounce buffer weight and put an 8-ounce buffer weight in there. All right, so the extra weight reduced the gases that were coming out of the ejection port, and now people can shoot this lefty without getting. Actually, they don't come straight to your face. They kind of go off to the side at this angle right here, which is normally where I'm standing. So I was getting all the gas in my face, right? Because the lefty was here. It seemed like the gases were coming in that direction right there. That's exactly where my head is. And I would have all the gas in my face. So when I changed the buffer weight from 4 ounces to 8 ounces, I no longer have that gas in my face the way I used to. Now, something that came up while I was researching this, right, is that if you try to put a binary trigger in one of these guns, which is something I was considering, installing a binary trigger, it seems that it increases the possibility of an out of battery detonation. Okay, so what I have found as a possible solution beyond just the 8-ounce buffer weight that I use, there's a 10-ounce that's available from Core Valley. All right, just look up 9mm 9mm rifle Core Valley buffer weight, 10-ounce buffer weight. You should find it. It's like $55, but it's a 10-ounce buffer weight, and it's a dead blow. So now here's the thing. All of these buffer weights, they have the weights inside that move back and forth. So I kind of thought that all buffer weights were dead blows, right? Where, you know, a dead blow hammer being once you strike a surface, it doesn't bounce up. So I always thought that all buffer weights were dead blow, but this one is specifically advertised as a tungsten dead blow buffer weight. So if you're gonna put a binary trigger into your 9mm carbine, right? I recommend that you get this buffer weight, this 10-ounce dead blow buffer weight, so that you don't have these out of battery discharges. If any of you guys out there have installed a binary trigger into one of your 9mm rifles, right? 9mm AR rifles, drop some comments below. Let me know how that experience has been for you guys. What type of buffer weight you have in there, and you know, if you're getting any out of battery discharges or any other problems. So, thanks for watching. If you're not a member of the channel, subscribe and hit the bell button so you get notification of new videos I put up.